Okay, hi everybody. It is Sunday the 26th, July 26th. Um, I'm sensing that there's some good things coming soon, and I kind of explain why I why I get this idea. I mean, not only I'm just doing a lot of research and I'm finding out, uh, some of the posts that people have been doing out there about basically taking down the controllers and basically the deep state. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's been starting. It's been going on for a while, but it's actually going to start servicing, and they can't hide it much longer. So that's definitely a good thing coming up. But I also feel that there's kind of a shift last week. There's and just lately anyway. I can't exactly put a date on it, but I feel there's a shift in the timeline. And again, I kind of want to go back to explaining how timelines work. It could be something subtle in our own world, like, I decided not to go into work today and call in sick. Well, that affects a lot of different people because someone else has got to cover for you, or, so it changes other people's timelines when people decide to do things differently. Well, to do it on a global scale, it's pretty difficult to pull that off because, in a sense, you have to be big enough to affect a lot of people. For instance, if a governor decides to tell everybody to put masks on or not, well, that's going to affect a lot of people, and it's going to have a ripple effect on a new timeline. So if he cancels it, or and it's basically people in power can have bigger effects. So it's a no-brainer as far as to understand that. Um, but I kind of want to explain something about timelines too. What I've been getting doing a lot of research lately is we keep shifting to more and more positive timelines, and it's kind of being coaxed or basically helped by off-world entities for sure, uh, good entities. um, so, I mean, this is what I've been getting as far as messages are concerned. So, also to explain to you guys too, also when I get a message, it's basically a subliminal. I call them downloads, but it's basically messages. It's usually in my sleep, and I wake up remembering it. But sometimes it's during the day too. It's kind of hard to explain because I call it a download because it's literally just a thought that isn't necessarily my own. It's like I just get something like, did you know that there's a tsunami or something going on or whatever? It's like, really? Well, okay. Or so I'll look it up because I just want to. So I'll look it up on the computer. Now I'm trying to find out, is there anybody else talking about that? And I try to find more than one source too to sort of validate it for myself too. So I'll look things up and I'll go, wow, someone else is talking about that too, or nobody's talking about it. Sometimes I'll get something that's like, wow, how come nobody's talking about that? I mean, it makes sense to me, but it's like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So anyway, just when I talk about things like that, I'm not just using my imagination. I know the difference between my imagination. One thing that they've been telling me, I keep saying they, but yeah, wherever I'm getting this information from, is they said it's difficult for us to understand things while we're in a human body. What I mean by that is it's like a supercomputer uh, trying to download memory into like a Commodore 64 or something. Really crude, simple computer. It's just too much. Our brains physically don't have the capacity to understand or hold that much information, especially not at once. So that's why I get it in bits. Uh, so it's just enough to sort of try to wrap my head around it. That's a funny way of putting it, but it's kind of true. It's like you try to really grasp some of this information. Anyway, so that happens to me a lot. So, and again, you can just take it or leave it. I'm just basically telling you what some of the messages I'm getting. Anyway, the more interesting one that I'd like to share with you is these timeline shifts that are going on. Um, from what I understand, is as we all know, if I make that decision, same with that changing the timeline, it affects the future a lot. So, you know, I mean, a lot of things affect the future. Even just buying a new car, uh, you know, dating somebody new, whatever. It can have ripple effects like crazy. It could go, you know, who knows where it's going to go. Um, Little on like having millions of people do those same sort of things or something. So, uh, from what I understand, is uh, in a sense, and that's why I'm sort of here from the future, and it's hard for me to explain that to people because there's really, in a sense, no such thing as time as well. But anyway, but let's say there is linear time, is even in the cosmos. So from what I understand is something is affecting something way, way, way in the future, like maybe a million years in the future. So, and it's affecting quite a few uh, entities out there. Let's say that way. Let's say galactic families or whatever. Something happened back in this timeline, not just this timeline, but on Earth too. And it's because it's everything. All planets affect each other in a lot of ways too. So what has happened? They realized, and that's why a lot of them have come here, whether you can see them or not. These galactic federations, or whatever you want to call them necessarily. There's a lot of extraterrestrials that are surrounding Earth right now because they know what's happening is. We can also call it changing dimensions, shifting to a fifth dimension, like I think I told you guys before as well. But by doing this, it's also changing timelines. And for some reason, something had to be changed because it was a negative, something really negative happened in the future. And they've even kind of explained what it is, but it's kind of complex to go into. So maybe I'll do it on another video. But basically, they've sent people back. And what ends up also happening is from what I understand, all this stuff is really science fiction, I know, and hard to wrap your head around. But also what they're doing is, you can almost look at it like it's a computer game, as if you went forward and you realize, you know what, if I could just go back a few levels and not have done that one thing or two things, it's affecting me in my future games or whatever. So it's like you can put a pause on it and then go back and try to fix it. So that's kind of what I suspect. This is what I'm getting. They're trying to fix these timelines, and okay, I guess I'll kind of get a little more deep about it. But what they tried to do was, and this is on an alternate timeline, is use more AI. But what they found was, and I'm not exactly sure, I've only got hints of what went wrong, but with AI, you know, somehow AI got sentient or something. I don't know exactly sure what happened, but it's affected way too many futures, I guess. So what they're doing is they're basically trying to take away the AI connection. And I know that even I think Tony Rodriguez touched on it, which I totally agreed with when I heard him say it, talked about it. But if you can, it's pretty much a no-brainer. If you realize if you want to go to AI, like get robots to do everything in the future, first of all, they have to be maintained, and they're only programmable to a certain extent, whereas human beings are the ideal. In a sense, we're a biological machine anyway, but we're one of those ideal machines that you can use not only as slaves, which that's going to end too, but because you can reprogram us, we're in a sense low maintenance, and if you leave a planet with a bunch of us on it, and you come back, we multiply magically. So we're self-replicating. We're self-teaching. We can teach ourselves things. We can observe things and figure it out. We have all this capability. So the decision, from what I understand, made in the future was to not go the AI route. So in a sense, what they're doing is they're coming back, trying to rewrite this timeline, and it's a very positive timeline for humanity, for Earth human beings, for this particular model. And I guess it's affected a lot of civilizations out there. So it's almost like this is a very pivotal point in galactic history, and they're trying to fix it. We happen to be, well, me in particular, they told me, and for me, I understand why I came back to fix this. So I'm just, in a sense, a part of this. I still call it a jailbreak because it's basically from a prison planet being enslaved by these controllers. We're breaking out of that, and we're going to be given freedom. Like I said before, it's just like we can't even imagine the freedoms we're going to get in the future. We're going to be truly free, and so it's going to be pretty interesting how this plays out. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about earlier, I've been sensing there's a time shift. It keeps getting pushed forward, like the release dates for disclosures, all that. It's just for some reason, because it's having this sort of cascade effect, this domino effect of positivity for the future. So I don't know, that's kind of the best way I can explain it. I know it's kind of complicated, but I'm trying to simplify as much as I can from the information that I've been getting, and I'm going to try to keep posting stuff that's relevant to what's happening. But it's also in flux. Things are changing on the go. So, but I know that the positive timeline is definitely, it's on the horizon. It's definitely coming. It's coming quick. So that's kind of some good news for now. I'll post some more probably next week. So we'll have a good week. I think by the end of July, things are going to start looking up. It's just a small little prediction. It could not come true. I don't know. I'm just kind of being hopeful too. Okay, that's it for tonight. For now, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.